Get started in a couple minutes. Stephanie's on in Atlanta. Mr. Smith is on in LA. Sheila's on in New Jersey. I see Harjot on. Get started here in a minute. Ash is on. Danny's gonna be talking after Ash. Danny's got a new deal, should open escrow today. Allison's on. Frank is on. Frank has an appointment this Thursday. He's gonna talk about that. I got it. Frank, when you do, let's go over the O, the B, and the W so everybody can hear about it. Same with you, Ash, how much they owe. We'll go ahead and get started. We're only going to be on for about 15 minutes today. Ash is new to the group. Ash, if you can turn your video on, if you can, and go ahead, introduce yourself and how you got your first deal. What you said. Hey, Ash, how are you doing?
Hey guys, doing good. Sorry, I'm just chewing up all my food here at lunchtime before I
All
speak.
right. Well, just pause for 2 minutes so you can talk
No, I
about your
got
deal.
you.
Okay. All right. Go
Yep.
ahead, Ash. Welcome to the group. How'd you join the group and tell us how it's going?
Yeah, hey, nice to meet you guys. My name's Ash here in Corona. I spoke to Danny about a year ago about the opportunity. Got kind of scared back then, but I reconnected with them. And I was like, hey, I'm just gonna, just go for it. So 2 weeks, been about 2 weeks since I've been at it. Got my first appointment through cold calling. Um, you know, sometimes the number's not on the retran, so looking through True People search and honestly just calling as many numbers until I, get some type of lead. So I connected with this lady and as soon as I connected with her, I, pitched her, told her what we do, and from that point on, she spoke to me for about 30 minutes
Mhm.
and was just, telling me about her situation. So she felt comfortable enough to, take a meeting with us. She owes about 50, I think 52,000 on her loan.
No, that's what she's
Um,
behind. What's the total she owes? We always go with the total. What's the total she owes?
yep, it's 870, and then
Okay.
she's behind about 52, I believe.
Perfect.
Um,
Okay.
and then she and then she bought it for I think it was five something back in the 90s, I forget.
Okay. And then well, how'd you get her to meet with us? What did you say?
Yeah, I mean honestly, I think it was more just me, hearing her out because I think a lot of people are just trying to sell her off the bat about what solutions they have.
Uh-huh.
And I seriously listened to her for maybe 25 minutes or so, her just talking. So I think at the end of that, it was very easy for me to ask for the appointment and just, be be able to show at that time like what we can do for her rather than, tell her everything on the phone. So I think just rather than, being harsh and trying to pitch them off the bat, maybe just, tell them what we do. And if they open up and want to talk, just hear them out.
Okay, good, very good. And so how's it going now? What's the next step?
Yeah, so we've met with her a couple times and we're just trying to figure out which way she wants to go. Hopefully it looks like we might be listing it, so
Mhm.
hopefully do that. But a couple other options outside of that, but it's looking like that's the main thing here.
And would you say your home is worth?
It's worth 1.8 to 2 mil.
Very good. That's probably what we would list it at, maybe 2 million, because I know she wants to list it at that price. Maybe a little high for its condition, but we could start at that 2 million and then we can always come down. But that's great. First deal, potential deal, 1.8 to 2 million. So I know she's trying to reinstate the home, and maybe she'll want to sell it even after if they reinstate it. So we just have to stay on her. Okay. Good job.
Yep. Thank you,
Definitely.
Robert.
And for those that when you looked up True People Search, because I use Spokio, which costs me about $29 every 6 months. True People Search is free. Is that correct? Or Free People Search? Which one is it?
I think it's True People Search, but yeah, it's totally free. Um, Yeah, you just,
But
there's, go ahead.
did you put her name in it or the address?
Yeah, so I believe I want to say I put her name and I originally connected with her through her landline. So I got
Okay.
really lucky. And then
Uh-huh.
from the landline, she said, "Hey, here's my cell." So she gave me her cell because it wasn't online.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, hey, if like there's a number that keeps ringing or there's a voicemail, I definitely would leave a text message and a voicemail because you never know who's gonna hit you back up.
Exactly. Good. And the good thing, you just started a couple weeks ago. I got people that have been on for a while that have not gotten their first appointment. So you've also door knocked with Danny. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So me and Danny have been door knocking a couple days a week, and then outside of that, I'm kind of getting the rhythm for door knocking myself. So I'm going out a couple days myself.
Okay, good.
So just yeah, trying to find the rhythm of it. But I think like it's definitely a numbers game. Like Friday, Saturday, I went door knocking. I hit I think 16 doors total.
Okay.
Um, had one conversation, so it's not always going to be the hottest, but it's a numbers game, and it's just getting out there and not getting discouraged, I feel.
Yeah, so here's the key. You got to go to 30 to 40 doors a week. I say 30 to 40 and people do 27. You want to get to your doors every week. Cold calling is great. A lot of people like Danny, L, Harjot, Jeanette, they also call, but you want to definitely door knock because that's the warmest leads. So do your calls and door knocking. You have the perfect job for it because on your day job, what are your hours?
Oh, it's like 7 to about 2 o'clock.
Perfect. You can door knock after that. The best time to go is after 4, but it's going to start getting dark sooner. So then we usually go 3 to 5 because you
Yeah.
don't want to door knock when it's dark. But you can definitely make your
Hmm.
calls. And what I would do if I were you is I would door knock in the afternoon and then come home and make calls when it gets dark. So if it's dark, in a couple of months at 5:30, I'd get out 3 to 5 and then come home and make calls after that because people are home and eat. So that's good, definitely. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome job. Danny, if you could turn your video on, you are should be opening another escrow in Lake Elsinore. It's probably your seventh or eighth deal, something like that. What did you say? How did you get that one, Danny?
Yeah, so that one I actually had been to the house before. I had talked to her son from the second time I actually went to talk to the person we got. It ended up being her son. I went back. I saw the house was in foreclosure before. Just had a return when I saw it on the retran again. But yeah, so I actually Ash and I showed up. I led him in introduction with the pitch, and then I just told her that we're here to help her out with some options.
Okay.
She told us that she wasn't working on anything. So as soon as she mentioned that, I said, okay, well, we need to meet. Because then she also added that she's going to be leaving for a new job in Georgia on Tuesday, which is tomorrow.
Yep.
So at that point, I was like, okay, she has nothing going on. She's either going to maybe let this go, and she did tell me that she was just thinking of letting the house go after. But I emphasized that we should meet right away. And then as soon as I confirmed with her to meet with us, that's when I started to ask her for how much she's behind as well. And then I found the worth afterwards. But with her telling me about her moving situation and the new job situation, that's kind of where I just saw my opportunity to just set up the meeting and just be straightforward. So yeah, that
Okay.
one was pretty simple, straightforward. She met with us, and then I did send her Robert's card afterwards, and she did tell us the time when she was coming to the office. She's like, I was about to flake on this appointment, but since I saw the card and the company, I was just more confident on showing up, and I just felt I had a good feeling about it. So she kind of told us her story about real T1 and I guess her relationship with I guess whatever happened in the past in uh, in a good way for her. But I guess that was her main reason on coming is sending Robert's card. Right after we confirmed at the door that she was ready to go with us, I sent her the card and she was there.
Yep. And I've talked to her today. Her and I are supposed to talk this afternoon. The contract's ready, so hopefully she signs it today. We'll open escrow today on that one in Lake Elsinore. Good job. And Ash and Caesar are actually working on your team. What did you tell them about foreclosures? And then what are you doing to train them on working on foreclosures? Because obviously, like I said, they're under you, which is great. So what did you tell them and how are you training them?
So I just told them that the opportunity is good. I mean, they spoke. Caesar spoke to you, and I guess he was just going through a situation. But I've showed him the potential that it's given me from where I was before this, So just seeing that already is just kind of like it just makes people see with the potential that is possible for themselves. Like we grew up together, we went to elementary school together, so they see that if I could do it, they can do it.
Exactly.
And then, secondly, for training them, I'm going out every single week, at least one day to door knock. But I'm also doing like practice pitching with them. So we'll do role playing on Zoom calls. We're going through terminology. So when I first got started, there was a lot of words I didn't know. I had to learn as far as just going out there and just making it happen. So I created a list that I'm actually still building for terminology. So that way, if they hear words, they can quickly look them up or have the definitions and kind of already have an idea of what these things are that homeowners might say. And just to cut the learning curve of understanding on their scenario and anything else they might have just to clean up their conversation. So that's one big thing that's I feel like is going to help them. And then secondly, just still giving them postcards as well so they can use on their meantime, letting them know to use the sticky notes and still put their own contact information.
Yep.
But yeah, main thing I feel like is just them shadowing me and then just doing like the cold call role play so that way they know what to say over the phone and just mirroring that when they do it at the door as well.
Exactly. Awesome. Good job. Very good. And you went out with Caesar this week as well, right? I think you went out Friday with Caesar.
Yep. Yeah, we're out there Friday.
Awesome. Awesome. Good. Very good. Keep up the great work. Yeah, you should be opening another escrow today. And that's going to be a quick escrow, like a 2 or 3 day escrow. So we should close Wednesday or Thursday on that one. Because we're taking over that loan subject to, which for our newer people, subject to means you don't pay off the homeowner's loan. You just bring it current and you keep it in place because they might have a low interest rate. So investors like that. So that's good. And one of the things that Ash did, that Danny does, and I know Harjad does, is they use those search, like Free People Search, True People Search, to look up homeowners. A lot of our competition doesn't do that. So what they'll do is they'll call the number maybe that's on the Retran paper or Property Radar. I use Retran. A lot of people use Property Radar or other sites, and the numbers aren't always good. So you have to be willing to go on those people search websites and call all the numbers on there until you find them. Ash, how many numbers did you call before you got to Miss Davis? How many numbers did you call?
I mean, I want to
Yes.
say it was
Uh-huh.
a cool 30 numbers or so, and
Okay.
it's like that with a lot of properties that you're
Yeah.
calling. It feels a little discouraging almost, but that's just part of the game. Like a lot of these numbers are going to be wrong, but you just have to keep on calling until you get a good line,
Exactly.
um, or someone answers, and that's really it. But yeah, I would say about like 30 calls.
Okay. But the thing about our team, Ash, is that we do what other people don't do. Other people will call 1 or 2 numbers. That's why we get a ton of deals. That's why we're the #1 team in the Corona office, because we kind of go that extra mile of door knocking, going back multiple times, being willing to talk to maybe a neighbor. If the home is empty, we go talk to the neighbor on each side and then across the street until we get information. Our competition usually just leaves stuff at the door. And one of the things I do, Ash, is if I go to a door and they have something like our competition is on the door, like has left their postcard, I take it off. I feel like, hey, I'm cleaning up their front door. So I just take their stuff off. Only time I don't take it off is if I see one of ours, like I door knocked last week and I saw Danny's at a couple. So I just left his and then put mine there too. But I'm sure they do that to us. So I don't want the front door to look messy. So I just take it off if I see the competition, definitely. Frank got an appointment. We're meeting with a homeowner Thursday in Pomona. Frank, I don't know if you're able to. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Frank, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing
Nice
good.
glasses. They make you look very educated. Good job,
Oh,
sir.
thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. What'd you say to those people at the door? How'd you get the appointment? And then if you have it with you, tell us how much they owe, how much they're behind, and what the home is worth.
So just like Danny and everybody was saying, like it's really a numbers game. Try not to get discouraged because we've had conversations and I'm still trying to hit, on my slow weeks, I hit like 25 doors. But when I'm just doing my average, I'm hitting 30 to 40 doors. But
That's good.
there are some days like Saturdays where I just talk to no one.
Okay.
And that's like 30 doors into my week and like I have not a single person, but I'm leaving my flyers and I'm making my calls. But it's sometimes you just gotta get lucky at the door and there's someone there. So this weekend I actually had a lot of good conversations, but was only able to set one appointment this time.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Frank, one appointment a week is 4 a month. that's going to be 2 deals a month. That's going to be $20,000. So that's good. If you can get 1 appointment a week, that's great. If you get more, that's even better. But 1 a week is really all you need. And think about it. You can go to 30 to 40 doors, get 1 appointment out of those 30 to 40, and that's 30,000 a month. So that's good. You already have your first appointment, and we're meeting with them on Thursday, right?
Yeah, we're meeting with them Thursday evening.
Okay.
Just because they changed their schedule because they wanted the brother-in-law of the husband, because the husband is he's had a stroke, so he's not mentally there anymore. So the wife is handling everything. So she just felt a little bit better with having some more family that was more aware of what's going on to kind of be there to help her out, to kind of like, I don't know, make her feel a little bit more comfortable.
Okay, and that's fine. That's good because they usually talk to a family member after we meet with them, so that's great. They'll talk to them while that family member will be there. What's the OBW on that one?
So so when I was setting the appointment, like anytime I set the appointment, before I even call you, I always want to make sure you get the information so that's always what's owed and what's behind. She currently owes 350,000 on the home. She's only behind 80,000.
80? Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a pretty good number. 80,000 or 8?
It says 80.
Okay, 80.
Yeah.
And then what is the home worth?
The home, according to Redfield and Zillow, they're putting it between 733,000 and 738,000.
That's awesome. They have a lot of equity, so we can definitely help them. So that's really good. Marjorie, we're still working on one. I'm going to call Marjorie and Hilda are working on one in Victorville. The homeowner has not solved it. They should have an auction date pretty soon. It can go to auction anytime after. It could have gone to auction as early as July 27th. So they're probably going to get a notice here pretty soon. They owe about 115. It's worth probably 500,000. So that's a really good one. And they haven't solved it. So I'm going to be calling. That's on my list to call after the Zoom. So that's another good one we might still get. Let's see. Harjat, what's something you hear at the door and what do you say to overcome it?
At the door recently and also on the phone, I've just been hearing that, oh, I'm already working with someone, I've already handled it. So I just say what you've taught us, just that's great. You should keep working with them, but let us give you a second opinion and hopefully, they'd go with us over the other people.
Exactly. Very good. We have one right now closing actually today in Porter Ranch. That's great. Danny should close probably Wednesday or Thursday. If I can get Marjorie and Hilda's client, Paul, on the phone, we'll close that one this week because he wants me to call him. We just have to keep calling him back. Gianni and I are supposed to meet today in Vista and try to get the homeowners that are in the San Diego Vista area to close today. Gianni, anything you want to share with the group motivational about that one? That'd be a nice deal if we can get that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that one, Gianni? We've been working with them for probably 3 weeks, 4 weeks. What are your thoughts?
They just need to make a decision. They have an auction coming up October 3rd. I think their heads are in the sand. They need our help, and so we just have to stay on them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think we're gonna get that one. They what did they owe on that home? Was it like 250?
Yeah, like 250, 280, I think, something like that.
Okay, and how much are they behind?
Let's say 30 probably now.
Perfect. Yeah, because it was 20 something when we first started talking to them, high 20s. And what is the home worth?
Fixed up probably 7 or 8. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And they only owe 250 and they get ready to lose that house if we don't get to them. So we got to definitely help them. So I have a lot of new people on. I have Noelle is on, Stephanie in Atlanta. Stephanie, welcome to the group. Stephanie, what piqued your interest about foreclosures? If you could unmute and just introduce yourself, tell us what company you're with. I don't know, Stephanie. There you go. Hey,
Okay,
Stephanie.
sorry about that. Hey, sorry, I was trying to get off mute. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. What piqued my interest? It was more so being able to help people. I used to work for a company called Barksdale Real Estate, and they collected a lot of people who needed to get their home sold, but they weren't willing to help the ones that were in pre-foreclosure or foreclosure status. They actually ended up like making the situation worse. And then, I just kept seeing more and more clients go into foreclosure and get their homes taken from them, which ended up, me getting yelled at. So my interest came just from the ability to be able to help these people because there are a lot. As our economy gets worse and worse, we're seeing more and more. So yeah, I'm eager to learn.
Okay, great. And I'm glad you touched on that. So I pulled in Southern California. Stephanie, I just went back to July 1st. So I went from July 1st through September 5th, and I just used the Southern California counties. So LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, Ventura, San Diego, over 5,000 new foreclosures, if you could believe that. And that's not counting the ones that got notice of default in April, May, and June. And it's not counting the people that have an auction date. And that's nationwide. There's literally there's thousands of people in default right now. So it's a great opportunity for us to help them. Danny talked his first deal, Stephanie, was like 36,000. Sophia's first deal was like 20,000. So Harjot's made 35,000 in her first 2 deals. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of people with equity that we want to help. So Gianni, this will be her second deal. So hopefully we will, be able to help you close a lot of deals. You're in the Atlanta area, is that correct?
That's correct.
Atlanta has a ton of foreclosures. What city are you at? Are you actually in Atlanta or out in the suburbs?
I am in Atlanta, but
Okay.
I have I'm born and raised here, so I understand the outskirts of Atlanta, the insides of Atlanta, and everything around it. So
Perfect. A ton of foreclosures there, a ton of people for you to help. A website I would recommend is Property Radar, because they're nationwide, and they will also allow you to skip trace, where you can look up alternative numbers. They'll give you more than one number for a homeowner. I don't know if you have to pay extra for it. You may, but it's worth it, because that's a game changer when you skip trace people.
awesome. I'll look into it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So what we say at the door is, Stephanie, what we say at the door is we just say to them, when I open the door, we say, hi, my name is Stephanie. I help homeowners that are in foreclosure, like to help you, stop the foreclosure on your home. Because you want to get that out before they can even get that live. And then they're going to say something like, well, I'm working with somebody. You heard what Harzad says, and I'll go over more with you and make sure you have the scripts. You're going to say, good, keep working with that other person. We just want to give you a second option. What time today or tomorrow can you meet? You always want to ask for the phone number and the appointment, okay? And then another thing, Stephanie, is you want to be consistent. Everybody that door knocks and calls consistently is getting deals. You just have to be consistent. Jump on a Zoom and they get to your doors 30 to 40 a week. And a perfect schedule is like afternoons, because people are home anytime after 3 or 4. And then weekend mornings are great. Anytime from, I would say, 10 to 2, Saturday and Sunday. Can you think of any questions you have? And then I'll go to Noel next. Any questions you might have, Stephanie?
I don't have any questions. You just answered it. I wasn't sure what time of day would have been best, so you just answered it. Thank you.
Okay. Afternoon is definitely best. Some people are home during the day, but way more are home in the afternoon. So unless you're just free to go mornings and afternoon, I would definitely do afternoons. Noel, what's a question you have?
Hi, Robert.
Hey,
So
Noel.
I have a question regarding the retrans printout. So I have a couple that I visited that don't show the date of the anticipated auction. And
Okay.
I heard you mentioned that it might be like pre-foreclosure. Is that correct?
I call it notice of default because that's actually the correct term. Notice of default or auction. Because if they are in foreclosure, people say pre-foreclosure, but really they're in default already. So that's the first stage of foreclosure. But what you could do is maybe come to the office. I'll show you where to find it, but not all of them have an auction date. So if they're 3 months behind, they may not have an auction date. They don't get an auction date till they're at least 6 months and 21 days behind. So if it doesn't have an auction date, that means it's just a notice of default. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
And then,
I visited homes that don't have the date, and then at the door they're like, "Oh no, I don't have any issue. Like, please leave."
okay. Okay. So do you take your retran paper with you? Because you
Yeah, I
always want to
do.
have, then you want to show them on the retran, hey, you got a notice of default on this date. So what I'll do, we'll talk later today. I'll show you how, because you got to practice reading that retran paper. So here's one right here. This is actually Danny's. It got a notice of default August 28th. It does not have an auction date because it can't get an auction date until at least December 16th. So remember, if it doesn't have an auction date, it's just an NOD, okay?
Okay.
And then what you should do is come to the office. I'll show you where to find all the info on the retran paper. Okay.
Okay.
And the key is if you have that paper with you, you can say, yes, yeah, you're in foreclosure. You got to notice the default and you show them the date on the paper. gray key a lot of times will leave the retran paper there so they know that we know what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll with that.
Do you have another question?
Uh, no, I think that's it.
Okay.
That covered it. Thank you.
Okay. Like I was telling Stephanie, be willing to be consistent and get into your doors and then be willing to go back multiple times. That's the key. Sometimes I door knock 10 houses, I talk to one person. I never get discouraged because I know it always works. So if you find yourself getting discouraged, if not you, Noel, but anybody, I would say look at the Zooms. Look how many deals we're closing. I literally, last week, I was door knocking. I went out with Harjot. We door knocked. The guy shoot us away from the door because he was on the phone with the lender. And then he called me back an hour later. So don't worry about if they don't call or if they don't open the door. A lot of times those people will call. Okay. Allison, if you could unmute. Allison is in Vegas and then she also does Utah. Allison, what is something you hear at the door other than I'm working with somebody, and then what do you do to overcome it? We can't. You gotta unmute.
Yeah, I
There you
always
go.
say that's great that you're working with somebody else. It's always good to have more options. We'd love to be a second option for you. I like to hear what they are working on and then
Perfect.
just see what we can offer in addition to that.
That's good. That's great. I like to hear what they're working on too, because if they say, "Oh, I'm trying to get a modification, I sent the packet in, I'm just waiting," then I believe them. But if they're like, well, we're just trying to solve it," I know they're just trying to get me off the porch, which happens a lot. So then I try to keep the conversation going because I know they're probably not telling the truth. So, and you can tell, can't you usually tell at the door, Allison, if they're really like, if they're kind of working on their solution already?
Yeah, you can tell if
Mhm.
they are working with somebody or if they're just trying to ignore it and they're hoping
Exactly.
it's going away or saying, oh, my husband or my sister or my attorney's got it and they
Uh,
don't really know.
exactly.
Sometimes they pretend like they're out of it.
Uh,
So yeah,
okay.
you
And
get the
you're in
range of
Vegas.
it.
I'm sorry, say it again.
You get the range,
Yeah.
whether they're super involved or whether they pretend like they don't really know what phase they're in.
Exactly. And like I said, you're in Vegas, so there's a ton of foreclosures there. And so the key for the whole team, everybody, is make sure you get out. Make sure you get out to your doors because we're getting deals. Allison, Gianni, and I have been working on these people for 4 or 5 weeks. I'm literally driving all the way down almost to San Diego to try to catch them at the door because they haven't given us a yes or a no. And they keep saying, well, talk to me in a week. We've met with them. We've done Zooms. And like I said, they have about 500,000 in equity. And like Gianni, like you said, they just kind of stuck their head in the sand. So we want to try to bring it to a head. We want to move them to action finally and get them to sign with us. So because we have a great deal for them. So hopefully we get that one. Wish us luck, definitely. So
Definitely
we're
wish you
just
luck.
thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe that'll be the key. All right. Um, so the key for our new people is you want to say that you can help them right at the door. And then you want to say, well, good, we can loan you the money to bring it out of foreclosure, or we can do a loan and we can do a refinance and give you an entirely new loan because that's what they want to hear at the door. I never, Allison, at the door mention selling unless they mention it, which happens maybe 2 out of 100 times. I don't mention it because they're going to close the door on us. So I just tell them we can do a loan to bring it out of foreclosure because that's what they want to hear. And then I try to set up that meeting and show them why selling is better than losing the house. And if we have to, we'll do a loan for them. The rate's not going to be good, but it'll bring them out of foreclosure. And that way they're able to stay in the home. So I think that's the main thing. Everybody is be willing to be consistent. I know I have Alvin on. I'm glad to see him. Joe's on. Joe's going to be door knocking. Joe, what areas are you door knocking this week? And tell me something we haven't already heard. Something you hear at the door and what you do to overcome it. And you just got to unmute. There you go. Hey, Joe.
What up?
Hey, sir.
Um,
What's something you hear at what cities are you door knocking this week?
this week I'm gonna do Ontario, Pomona.
Great. Oh, it's a gold mine. Those are great. Those are two of the best cities in our area. What's something you hear at the door and what you say to overcome it? Something we haven't heard on today's Zoom.
Man, it's pretty much the same things.
Give me only one we
The
talked
I'm
about
trying.
today. Hold on. Only one we talked about today is I'm working with somebody. So what's another one you hear at the door? Because I hear about 5 different things.
Yeah. It's either
We'll
I'm
think of
working with
one.
somebody or that they'll say, uh, I have, they'll say like, I don't have the time.
Okay. If they say I don't have the time, what do you say?
I usually say, I'll say, well, I'm not trying to bogart your time. What time is convenient? And the meeting is only going to be about 10 minutes long. You don't have
Good.
10 minutes to spare? I was like, so the meeting will be only 10 minutes long, and we could do it whatever day's most convenient for you. We work
Perfect.
7 days a week, so whatever
Yep.
day's the best day out of the week for you, that where you could spare just 10 minutes, it's just fine. So
Perfect.
what's your phone number?
Good. Good. And I like how you didn't ask them. You just say, "What's your number?" Because I never say, "Would it be okay? Would you mind?" Is I say, "Hey, what number can I call you on to set that meeting?" And I just
Yeah, I
and
just say,
I pull my phone out. That's
I
good.
say, what's your phone number? And then I put my head down and put my pen in position like I'm about to write their number.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's how the guy that trained me, because we're in a position of power. And at the door, if I'm talking to them, I feel like they're lucky to work with us. So I assume they're going to give me the number we're going to meet. So I just like you, I had to have my pen or my phone. I say, well, what number do you want me to call you on tomorrow so we can set that meeting? And I just
Yeah.
go from there because
And
you
then
have to feel. Go ahead.
I also hear, um, I have a lawyer, and then I usually tell him, I was like, well, a lawyer doesn't really solve the problem. It actually probably costs you more money, but real help is
Exactly.
free.
Exactly. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, because of course, Joe, we know those lawyers are going to charge them. A lot of lawyers are crooks. They take their 10,000, 15,000, and they don't do anything. So that's good. Very good. Alvin, what areas are you door knocking this week? What days and what areas are you going to door knock? And we'll be done in a couple minutes. Go ahead, Alvin. And if it's then my Tanae, I'm going to ask you a question in a second. Alvin, what areas are you going to door knock this week? And don't forget you have to unmute. There you go. Hey, Alvin. What areas are you going to door knock this week?
Well, I'll be new to the whole process. I kind of be on here while doing my main job, listening to all the good stories. But I'll probably start maybe Ontario and Rancho. I live in
Mm-hmm.
Rancho, so probably Ontario, Rancho, and maybe Fontana. Those are my surrounding areas
Yep,
that
yep.
that I can get to, and it won't be that hard to go back if necessary. Because I hear you
Exactly.
talking about having to go back multiple times, so I'm going to try those three areas this week.
Those are great. Ontario, Rancho, Fontana have a ton. If you throw in maybe Pomona, I mean, just those four cities alone probably have 200 some foreclosures. And that's key because one of my door knockers was going to door knock LA, but he lives in Rancho. And I said, okay, but are you going to be willing to go back 2, 3, 4 times? And he was
Right.
like, yeah, maybe I'll door knock closer to my area. I'm in Corona, Alvin, but I literally door knock Elsinore, Temecula, Chino Hills, Corona, Riverside, Moval, Diamond Bar, San Dimas, Laverne, Fullerton, Anaheim, Orange, Yorba Linda, Ontario, Pomona, Claremont, Upland. I probably door knock 20 cities because the more cities that you door knock, the more deals you're going to get. So
Right.
I would say definitely start with those 3 or 4 cities. And then once you start closing deals, you're going to door knock more because there's so many deals. So, such a gold mine out there. So that's
Right.
good. Very good. Tanae, do you have any questions? Good job, Alvin.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And Alvin, I think, is going to be joining Realty One Group, which is great. Of course, you don't have to be licensed, but since he has a license, that's great. He can even list his own deals, kind of like I co-listed with Shella. Today, do you have any questions? You can unmute. My cousin Tanae is on. I think she's on. She's just got to unmute. Does anybody have any questions? That's pretty much all I have. Any questions? Any questions? You can type it or you can just ask me. Sheila's back on. I know she was on vacation a couple of weeks ago. Sheila's in New Jersey. Sheila, are you seeing a lot of foreclosures in New Jersey? Hey, Sheila.
Hello. Yeah, hi. Yes, I have been, but I really haven't gone back into doing anything yet. But what I intend to do, I'm working with a title company, and they've given me access to their database. On that, I can see how much they actually owe in.
Okay.
So if their equity is more, then I would obviously chase those, because the one we had last time, she was owing more than what
Then
the
the
house
home was
was
worth.
worth.
Yep,
So
yep.
that was a complete waste of time, to
Okay.
be honest. So I want to do it the other way this time.
let me give you some advice. With the title company, they're going to give you what their loan amount was. So you can kind of calculate about how much they owe now, depending on if they've had the loan for 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, or 20 years. A great resource for you that I would say is even better than the title companies would be Property Radar. And of course, the title company gives you leads free, but Property Radar is more accurate. A couple of my door knockers here were getting leads from title companies. They were just getting the title report, but the title company doesn't update their record. So then they would drive 25 minutes, get to the house, and find out the people had already paid it. So that you got to weigh your options, because you can get them free, but then you might spend more in gas driving to homes that they've already solved the foreclosure problem. Whereas Property Radar or Retran, they update their records every couple of days. So that's something I'll let you look at that, and you and I can talk about that as well. But as long as you're getting out there, the key is to door knock and call 30 to 40 people a week. On a door knocking calls, you need to make several hundred. So that's all I have, you guys.
Sorry, I have one last question.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
Yeah, the question I was going to ask, I hear people saying they're looking on our truepeople.com and
True People Search.
True People Search. Do you have to check another database to see that they are the do not call list? Because that sort of scares me. I don't want to call somebody on a do not call list where and I'll get fined. So that seems to be my worry.
So let me ease your apprehension. I have been calling consistently on foreclosures since 2006. So 19 years. I've only had one person that really complained and called off. That's out of 50,000 calls. So I get what you're saying. I don't worry about that, because we're not soliciting. We're trying to help. That's the mindset I have. So a lot of people are like, oh, they're on the do not disturb list. Sheila, I've had one person complain in 50,000 calls. So you don't want to psych yourself out of making these calls. Just call. You're not going to, what are they going to do? Say, hey, I'm on a list. Please don't call. Okay, have a good day. And that's it.
Okay.
Right. But don't. A lot of times we build imaginary hurdles. You don't have to worry about that. Just be like your Zoom says, relentless. You have to be relentless. So, because there's people out there that need your help. Okay. That's all I have, group. I'll send everybody this Zoom. Great job. A lot of new people. Alvin, Noel, Stephanie, Ash. Make sure you reach out. Mr. Smith is on. Good to see him on. One of my childhood friends. Make sure if you have questions, you call me. Like the question Noel had about reading the date on the retran. I definitely want to show you guys how to read those papers. All right. All right, you guys. That's all I have. Text me if you need anything. Noel, call me in about 15. So we can set a time to meet. Ash, call me in 10 so we can call your client. All right, have a great week, you guys. You're very welcome, Marjorie. I'm calling Paul in 5 minutes for Marjorie and Hilda. So have a great week, and let's close those deals. Good luck to everybody. See you later, Gianni. I'll be on the phone with you soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Great job, you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, you too.